in my CSD 269 class, where we introduce the idea of deafness as a culture, one of the very first things we do is we talk about how community and culture works within this framework of someone who is identifying as a deaf person. I use the onion analogy, in which that center of the onion, you know, when you cut through an onion, there's always that core that's solid, that's never ever changing. And that is our big D deaf culture. In our big D deaf culture, some people are born into it. There's many generations of deaf individuals, and they are born into that culture. But more times, our individuals who are a part of deaf culture are actually born into hearing families. And they find deaf culture and they become a part of deaf culture in a variety of different ways and different times. Some in childhood, some in adulthood, based upon region and experience and opportunities. But regardless, those individuals who are a part of that core have something in common with their hearing loss. They have something in common with choosing to identify as a deaf person and living in a visual world, and looking at deafness as a deaf gain, as I mentioned before, versus again as a disability. Then we have all of these other layers that happen coming out of this onion. And all of these other layers are different pieces of the deaf culture and the deaf community, and they interact in different ways, and people can move in between them at different times of their experiences. You know, we have those big D deaf individuals here in the center, and then maybe we have other children of deaf adults in that next layer out. They grow up in the deaf community and deaf culture, but they themselves are hearing. So they are a part of the deaf community in some ways, but they can't be a part of that core because they're not they themselves deaf. So they kind of move in between, and then we can continue to move out further. You know, I find myself someplace in, you know, this area of the onion. And then as you move out even further, individuals who may just be interested or just learning the language or just experiencing the idea of deaf culture for the first time. Maybe their parents who just had a child who was deaf, and they're exploring options for their language and communication and education and interactions, and they are on that outside skin of the onion. And as they learn more and as they have the opportunity to experience the community and individuals, they can move into different layers of that onion. But all of that onion has to play together to hold it all to be that community and culture.